when we as human beings feel a lot of responsibility for what others want, what others are asking for us. And the question is, can you explain what responsibility is and what we're really responsible for?
Yeah. This is kind of an interesting one because when I look at responsibility, there's really only, if there is at all, there's really only one responsibility. I would call it your divine responsibility, if there's a responsibility at all. And it's your divine responsibility is to wake up to love. Wake up to your heart. To wake up to who you are, not about what you do, not about where you do. You could be a facilitator, you could be an instrument, a conduit, you could be an author, you could be an engineer, you could be hands-on, whatever. You could speak in tongues or speak without a tongue. I mean, it doesn't really matter what labels you want to give yourself. But for a minute, let's just take a breath. Let's put everything into perspective. That's all stuff that you do. It's what you do. It's not who you are. But when you look at others' wantings, great. Others are going to want this, they're going to want that, they're going to want that, they're going to want that. And hopefully one day will be an end. But looking at history and everything else, just story, there seems to never be an end to others' wantings. So it's interesting, right? That's about them, not about you. Even if you have children, great. Your child wants this, your child wants that. If we get into agreements, blah, 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 okay, you agreed to lay down, become impregnated, or get another impregnated, whatever it may be. So therefore, you're bringing a dear one, another soul onto the planet through in vitro. Now, they go through the caves of creation. They've had the choice of 3 family monads. They chose you. They come into the planet. So, okay, yeah, you agreed to bring them of age. And what that really means is, okay, doing your best to steer them, to journey them with clarity, ideally, with how to function in a body on a planet, not survive. That's like going south really quick. How to function in a body on a planet to the best of their ability. You agreed to give them sustenance until they were old enough to create their own. You agreed to guide them, steer them, teach them how to live in a body on a planet. Now, ideally, in a perfect universe, if you will, you take a breath, you have a deep sigh. Now you hand them over to the universe to take it from here. You can call it God, the universe, the angelic, archangelic, celestial realms, whatever it may be for yourself and your particular perceptional belief system. But regardless, now they go about their own journey. Maybe you'll meet up with them for the holidays. Maybe you won't. It's not good, bad, or indifferent. But now they're free, you're free. Maybe you become good friends, maybe you don't. But it's now, okay, you've honored your, quote, responsibility, if you had one, in the first place, but now you hand them over. So now, I'll call that the most simplistic, but coming back through your only responsibility, if you even want to call it that, is your divine responsibility. So you put your heart into as who you are. For me, I would say my agreement with myself, not a duty, not an obligation, not a responsibility, just my agreement with myself is that no matter what I'm doing, when I'm doing, how I'm doing, I'm going to put my best into everything. Whether it's washing a window, washing a dish, cleaning a litter box, ironing a shirt, pants, doing laundry, folding laundry, doing the yard, I'm going to put my heart into whatever I'm doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother doing it. What's the point? But that's my agreement with myself. And it's a feel-good thing, not a pride thing. Pride's all based in ego. It's a feel-good thing. So when I'm done, I know that I did it to the best of my ability, and I know it's not something that's gonna need to be repeated tomorrow because I didn't put my heart into it. Now, for all of us, for a moment, let's take this into the day-to-day world. We'll call it hypothetically the real world, but it's kind of funny because what makes it real or not real is all a matter of perspective. What I'm talking about is everything is real. And where we take a breath, okay, we go into the office. We become an employee, an employer, we put on this hat, that hat, or whatever. There's no rhyme or reason, is that we put our hearts into anything, anywhere that we're going to engage with. So from here, if I'm going to the office, that I'm not changing who I am. The only thing that's changing is the place where my body is. So I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. I'm not looking for approval. I'm not looking for others, attaboy or attagirls. I'm just know I'm going to go in wherever I'm at and do what I do, when I do, how I do, no matter what I'm doing, when I'm doing, where I'm doing. And I'm still just going to be me, whatever that means for each and every one of you. To me, it's be love, as love, express love, which means enlightenment, which means to lighten the load and let go of the baggage that holds you prisoner, which is the whole definition of enlightenment. The absence of density, which even breaks down to the absence of judgment. So now we look at, with this question, we look at, okay, what are we attempting to do to prove ourselves? Whom's approval are we looking for? What part of ourself are we feeling, not even feeling, but perceiving that either we're not good enough, whether we have a certain part of ourself perceiving that it has a lack of ourself or a lack of worth that we're seeking from someone else? Approval, acceptance, which is kind of interesting because if you take 100 dear ones in your live stream, put them all in a room, and you ask each one in that, out of that 100, what they perceivably think about you, you're going to get 100 different answers. Now, here's the trap. And it is a trap. Because now you're going to get 100 different answers from 100 different filters, from a whole 100 different journeyers, that everyone has a different filter based on their own experiences. They're all going to see you differently and want something totally different out of the 100. And we could have had the same experience. We could have all been on the same trip. We could have been living together or growing up together, blah, blah, blah. But the honest thing is no one's going to have the same answer. Now, the tricky part here, the confusing, dyslexic part is, well, which one are you going to listen to? The ideal part is to just listen to yourself, and you're doing things with them, maybe sometimes for them, because it feels good, not because you have to. Responsibility that turns into a very carnal thing from the solar plexus down. That's why your stomach turns and you put like your whole self-esteem on your shirt sleeve of pass and fail. It's a very carnal level that humans get caught up into to let themselves be judged by the falsity of the ego to be pass or fail. And it's a very intense energy game. 1 minute, everyone's going to hypothetically accept you. 2 minutes later, they're going to reject you. So the only approval you really may want to rethink about and start looking for is your own. That's why to thine own self be true, which doesn't mean push everyone away. It's just the oxymoron here is the more that you are true to your heart, the more you're true to yourself of the heart, the more it's going to complement everyone else beneficially. Now, I don't want anyone to mistake what I just said, because I'm not saying everyone's going to want to throw you a parade. Some are going to want to throw you up on a cross, but that's about them once again, not about you.